Do I have audio? Can you hear me, my friend? That's better. That makes for a better show. I can tell you that much. That's good. All right. All right, all right, all right. One thing's for sure. You got to stay relaxed. Sometimes you just have to simply restart your live stream. And here we are. Nice to see you guys. We'll see if we get the crowd back in. We're getting some peeps. I'll go into that in a minute. We'll just let here on it little music. How's that? Good, Nizawa. Wild Bill. I like that. It wouldn't surprise you to say that that's the first time I've had that nickname. I've had it before. But it applies at times. Howdy, my friend. What's up, KK? So there was no music on the last time. Yeah, I won't put any on, I guess. I guess I got all that out of the way. How are you guys doing tonight? Thanks for coming. Appreciate seeing you all. Guys been following like the news? Not like mainstream, but you've been following what's going on. It's pretty crazy. Things are going crazy. Cray cray. Yes, they are. Yes, sir. Things are going nuts. Everything is beyond the point of ridiculous within mainstream television. Not talking about the nighttime shows on Fox. They're pretty much exposing the truth. I don't know how all this works out in the big game plan. I don't know why they're allowed to disclose the truth to a fraction of the American public that watches them. I don't know why. But they are. And they are spitting truth. And maybe it's because if they weren't allowed, it would give up the hand of the deep state. Maybe they have to allow them one avenue of information. I don't know. Can't figure it out. Can't figure out personally why Fox is allowed at times to report what's going on with all of this. Why is that the case? If all television stations are owned by 6 companies, why is Fox allowed to do it in increments? Trying to wrap my head around that, to tell you the truth. Not bitching, not complaining, not anything. It just seems odd. It's like, are they caught in some sort of like rules of engagement between enemies? Is that you have to allow certain things to your enemy, and the deep state has to allow this to like the enemy, Trump? Are they engaging in these behind the scenes rules of engagement and absolutes? There's absolutes that should be granted to the partitioner. There should be absolutes granted. I mean, how far back does it go? Why is Fox News allowed to put the absolute truth out? I mean, it's like they're reading the cue drops from the past. The truth is being brought out on one station. The whistleblower is disintegrating before the eyes of Adam Schiff. This whole thing, I sound so redundant so often, but I can't help it. I can't help it. Because why, guys? Why? What am I about to say? Why? Because it's happening right now. Maybe this is a 2-week window. Maybe this is a 2-month window. Maybe this is a 6-month window into when America officially flipped and went back to the Patriots. What I'm getting at is that we are witnessing it now. We are watching this fake bullshit narrative. The fake polls no longer can help them. People are hip. People are way too hip to what's going on. People get it. People are awake. I love it that that's the case. Because the more it goes on, the more ridiculous it becomes. It's part of the plan. It really is part of the plan, is for the left to show themselves in such a way that becomes so obvious that they are just weak and just completely out of their element when it comes to dealing with the truth. They can't fight back against the truth. The truth is like a noose around their neck. Trump's pulling it a little tighter each day. And the Q team, they're pulling it tighter, a little tighter. No, we'll keep enough so that they can get it done. We can fit an extra head in here. In this noose, we can take an extra head or two. They're allowing enough rope to do that. But what we are witnessing right now is the slow death and destruction of the deep state. Everybody's hip. The second phase of this plan, which I've told you guys, is that he's got to get control of Washington first. The next phase is that he takes down the central bank. And he's already way up to his neck into the solution of getting rid of the central bank. You guys, in our lifetimes, God willing, and I think way sooner than like end of my lifetime, I'm talking in the next few years, we're going to see the abolishment of the IRS within America. It's going to become a unnecessary faction of the government. It's going to be unnecessary. That's the kind of monumental change that's happening. You know what, Democrats, if they actually knew what Trump was doing for them and what this plan entails, the Democrats would love him, because he's going to wipe out all of the bullshit that takes everybody's money, and he's going to make everything much more affordable. They would love him, but they can't help it. They're brainwashed. They're completely brainwashed. And really, it's sad to see, because I've witnessed it, and you guys have too. I've witnessed it. There are people that just, I don't know what it's going to take for them to come back. But an act of God might not even do it for them to come back. I don't know. What I do know is that these things are happening right before our eyes. I'm very redundant with what I talk about, but these are the things that I think about. I'm excited for humanity. I'm excited to be on the forefront of maybe having this puzzle figured out with massive amounts of help from the teachers. But being on the cutting edge of actually understanding where we're at in society and where we're at in life, I feel honored and blessed to maybe be at that point. There's times when I lose my hope a little bit too. It's not often, but there's times when I wonder, I think, how much more can the American public take? How much more accusations of truths that would bring down this deep state, this house? How many more accusations need to be laid out before we come out and we lay out truth? And then it's just non-negotiable. There's no way out of it. And it's the waiting game that I wouldn't say I'm struggling. I'm not. But it's the waiting game. It's the constant barrage of every day is the next day is the next day. And yes, we are winning. Yes, we are watching it happen. Trump is out there fighting his ass off This man is fighting harder than any one of us will ever fight for anything in our entire lives, ever. That's a driven man. But he also doesn't live any of our lives and doesn't have to go through any of our lives and go through our struggles and then come out and say, I still believe that this is the right plan. An incredible amount of courage from you guys, and not just you, everybody that follows Trump. Everybody has to check what they do in everyday life aside and say, I'll fight on board to do this. This is his gig. This is his jam. Taking down the deep state was what he was actually born to do. Beto O'Rourke tried to hijack that and say that he was born to do it, but he wasn't born to do anything but I just leave it alone. He just no. And America spoke, and he's gone. He's gone. Trump was born for this role. It's going to be crazy when it all turns out. If 4 to 7% will never wake up, then Lord grant me the ability to not meet those 4 to 7% of people when this is done. Because those are people that I just don't even need to have any kind of discussion with. I don't even need to hold a door open for them on accident into a store. Just no. Don't let me meet that 4 to 7%. But you guys are superstars. You're rock stars. You're digital soldiers, every one of you, me included. I jump on that bandwagon too. I want the accolades of my own accolades. I want to be on that train. The accolades. You're awake. You're digital soldiers. You love your country. Probably just believe in the simple concept of right and wrong. And maybe trust that the Constitution was kind of written about the concepts of right and wrong with a little bit of backing, some spiritual guidance to help keep things very prudent and, integrity based when they made those rules. Those rules that they wrote into the Constitution weren't put into play for them at the time. Oh, they were on paper. But would you believe that I would say that the forefathers were visionaries? They were visionaries. They knew what they carved out in the annals of history for what kind of country this would be. And they knew that those rules within the Constitution they were written as reminders for them at their time. But you know what? They're the ultimate time capsule. They've been in full view in front of us. We've been hypnotized to believe that this is all there is. No. This is laid dormant under the guise of patriotism to the point where it got overlooked. So much so. And they killed it in the leftist media so much. To have patriotism, you would think, is a very, very bad thing nowadays. And it's not. It's the most patriotic, beautiful thing that you can do for your country. For me, for everybody in this chat, for anybody you meet in life, the most beautiful thing that you can do in life is be a patriot. And the kind of patriot that doesn't believe in belittling somebody. It's about nationalistic pride within your country. It doesn't mean that you're Hitler and you want down with anybody, because you don't. That's why Trump re-embraced that word nationalist. It's not bad to be a nationalist, especially when you got a heart of gold and want the best for everybody. It's saying you want your country to come first. What Hitler meant it to mean was we want it to mean our country first while we kill everybody that we think is jeopardizing it. Okay. I don't want to get into a big thing about that with Hitler. I'm not. But that's the connotation that they tried to put on Trump as a result of that. And it's a never ending circus. They never stop. They never fucking stop. All right. It was 16 minutes before I dropped my first F bomb. I'm just saying, I'll try not to drop another. You guys, I've never been more uplifted and excited for not only my future, but my kids' future. But I think about, now my kids are grown up. I don't have grandkids yet. And as of now, none on the foreseeable future, and that's okay. It's okay. But I've never felt more a part of something in my life than what I feel is going on right now with President Trump. It's bigger than Donald J. Trump. It's all bigger, probably divine. Although I said it before, I think that he knew there would come a day when he would have to run. He's kind of referenced that a few times now. I always knew this day would come. Well, I don't intend to run for president of the United States, Oprah, but what I would say is that if I did, I would find that these relationships we have with trading to be very horrific. We're being grossly abused. And I don't blame the leaders. Good on the countries that have negotiated these deals. He has called this shit out forever. You seen the movie The Perfect Storm? Now, forget what you know about George Clooney and maybe Mark Wahlberg. I don't know. I haven't heard great things about George Clooney, but that movie was pretty good. And there was a perfect storm that wiped out everything. There was 3 converging storms that created the perfect storm. And they all converged right where this tugboat fishing expedition was going. The moral of the story is that everybody died on the Andrea Gale. There were also some people that died trying to save lives. But I guess what I'm saying is that it's that kind of drama in life when they make a story about it. When you see about the movie White Squall, you see these types of things because when you're on the seas, it's life and death. In the movie The Perfect Storm. But even if you watch these crab movies like The Deadliest Catch and shit, these guys, man, this is like life and death. It's all about communication. It's all about having each other's back. And I really think that that's why Q chose to embrace the movie White Squall. It's where the phrase, where we go one, we go all, comes from. It's where it comes from. Yeah, James Rohrbach. Yes. I saw it right as I was saying it. I saw you typed it. I see you, man. And I think I see so many of you that way. That is what it's about, is where we go one, we go all. It means that one of us, God forbid, could die. One of us could die. God forbid. Especially me. Because I got a lot of living to do. And I hope you do too. And I can't wait to see what the future is under this new guise, this new leadership. I know we need to put our faith in Christ. We put our faith in God, and our hearts and everything belong to Jesus. But we do live on a planet full of sin. And so it's important that we do things like obey to the best of your ability. Listen, I'm done making excuses for me. Am I a really, really good, kick-ass, really good sinner? You bet your ass I am. I'm a great sinner. I'm really great at it. Do I feel genuine remorse when I do? Yes, I do. When I pray, do I feel like I'm honestly talking to God when I pray? Yeah, I do. I do. I feel like I'm having as genuine a conversation with Him as I'm having with you right now, because that's the world I live in. Those are the things I believe in. He already knows He didn't make me perfect. He already knows this shit about me. But I'm trying. I'm trying real hard. And I imagine most of you are trying real hard too. Don't you think for a second God doesn't see it? I believe God does. All the crazy nuances you hear and all this, these preachers that get up there and, oh my God, it's a miracle you can walk again. Listen, I'm not here to judge any of them. What I'm telling you is when it comes to religion and getting in touch with God, that ain't my jam at all. And that's why I had to step away from church. It's not that I don't believe that God could do those healings. It's not that I don't believe that ye of faith of a mustard seed could move a mountain and tell it to jump into the ocean. I do believe in that power of God. But I believe that's the kind of power that manifests itself between you and Him, or it, or thee, or thou, in a one-on-one basis. And those things will be revealed. I'm just saying, you want to throw all your eggs in one basket and put it on a preacher? By their fruits, they will be revealed. But if you're so new in the game to God that you don't know what fruits are bad or good, then you better step back and do a little bit of research. There's enough Bible believers in this chat that maybe won't get you to heaven, but put you on the right path. None of us are guaranteed heaven. I get it. I get it. Some people believe in reincarnation. I get it. Reincarnation is a reason to say that God just gives you another chance and you get to go through it again because He's a compassionate, loving God. So I understand why people believe in reincarnation. You get to go back and try it again. It's funny though. Nobody that believes in reincarnation believes in God. It's nuts. Nobody believes in God that believes in reincarnation. It's the damnedest shit ever. And who am I to talk? I don't have any clue. Is God real? As far as a book with a bunch of writing on it called the Bible says, yeah, it is. Is God manifested in front of me? No. Will God ever manifest in front of me? Maybe. If God does, would I come on here and tell you? I would. 100% I would. I would, but you guys knowing me, how you know me, it would have to be absolute, for me to get on here and say something like that, right? Like I'm not coming on here and it just wouldn't. So I look forward to the day. I hope God does manifest someday to me. I do. I want the best for humanity. I want the best for everything. If you guys ever feel bad about who you are and how your life's going, what I want you to do is remember one thing. Maybe two or three things. Remember this about yourself. Number one, don't judge yourself. But if you were to judge yourself in the history of the world. Look at yourself in the world. Do you believe in God? If the answer is yes, and you believe in Jesus and the answer is yes, you are already in the top 1%. As far as humanity in the world. And maybe it's not the top 1%. Maybe it's the top 10% or 20%. I actually didn't plan on having this discussion. Shocker to many of you. But I would say you're in the upper echelon of people that believe in a true and just and loving God that is looking out for us. And if you do believe that, then you also believe that God will never give you more than you can handle, right? There's a lesson for all of us to learn while we're here doing whatever this is. I swear to God, I hope we get to take this experience with us. That once we leave this mortal coil and we move on to the next, whatever it is, I hope that I remember all of this. I hope Robert Wallace remembers panning all of that gold and James Rohrbach starting to pan. But I hope he remembers running it through all of his sleuth box and refining it and refining it. I hope that these lessons take. I hope I remember all of this. Because without it, what's the purpose? We're here to grow, probably in our search for humanity, being humane. There's definitely things that we're supposed to be learning while we're here. I would, yeah, I believe that. Let me see what's going on in the chat. I'm blind as a bat until I put these on. So I'll go back. I'll stroll up a little bit. Nothing planned tonight, guys. Just laying out some whatever. This. Oh, I see the redneck prepper though. I see Grumpy Troll. I see James Rohrbach and Mel Monty. And Robert Nazawa and KK and Joe Mama. And not all of my most favorite people in the world, but a lot of them are here. So the other ones are probably sleeping, and that's okay. The Fed, not IRS. Did I misspeak, James? I might have got that wrong. My bad. Thank you, friend. Yes, he's fighting like crazy. Yeah, he is. The IRS is not a federal agency. That's true, Headless Horseman. It's a collection service of the Federal Reserve. So flush the Fed, IRS goes bye-bye. Yeah, we want the Federal Reserve to go bye-bye, and the IRS as a byproduct will go bye-bye with that. It is not funded in any way, shape, or form. You've heard it a million times. The Federal Reserve is no more federal than Federal Express, right? It has nothing to do with our government. It prints money and lends it to us at a percentage. The only true money that is created in the United States is done by the U.S. Treasury, and that's all your coinage. So keep that in mind. Dimes, nickels, quarters, half dollars. We don't make dollars anymore, but yeah, we do. The Sacagaweas, yeah, we do. And presidential coins. But that's the only real monetary money that's actually of the United States is your coins. Just saying. And Headless gets that. I see that. And many of you get that too. Yeah. Oh, I see your comment. Yeah. Mel, they're not. And originally, the IRS was never supposed to even tax the common man or the poor. This all started out, they came out with the IRS and said, we're taxing nobody. And everybody's like, great. And they said, we're only going to tax the very, 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 very super elite rich. And everybody went, great, because we're not that. And they said, oh, we're going to have to just now tax the rich. And everybody went, great, because we're still not that. And they said, oh, we're going to have to just tax upper middle class. And everybody went, great, because we're still not that. And they said, oh, we're going to just tax middle class and more. And everybody went, okay, it's a little bite. And then they just kept going until they tax everybody. And that is the socialism juju for how you take down a country. Look no further than Venezuela. The Venezuelan bolivar is worth nothing. Just like Zimbabwe. They showed these three little black Zimbabwean kids who happen to be black with wheelbarrows full of money. And they said that they are Zimbabwean gazillionaires or whatever it was. Like money 6 months, 12 months earlier, that just, they would have thought these kids robbed a bank with the amount of money they had in these wheelbarrows. Worth nothing. Couldn't get you a 5-cent cracker with a spot of jam on it. All that wheelbarrow, it was worth nothing. Well, the Venezuelan Bolivar is a lot in the same way. And socialism is just absolutely proven to not work. If you believe it does, I'm sorry, you're not awake. You're not awake. You don't understand that socialism kills competition, the betterment, the race for the betterment of humanity. Socialism kills it, because then you don't reward the thinkers, the geniuses. Once you stop rewarding people, and maybe that's of the flesh, maybe it is, to be rewarded for your, I think it's okay to want to do a good job on something and be acknowledged for it. I think that's okay. And I think you can do that and be very awesome and have a great relationship with God. I think you can. Because if we're here to learn a lesson, believe me, all the emotions we feel in life, just because they say that's of the flesh, doesn't mean that you're not made to listen to it and feel it. It was put there for many factors, none of which have to directly do with any one of you or me. The circumstances of your life are simply that. It's just a roadblock in your life, and you just have to navigate it. And that is where God wants you to put your trust onto Him or it or her or whatever God is, because God has never been revealed to me in the flesh in a way. But I do believe in that higher power. But I simply believe it means that it's at those times more than ever is when we're supposed to put our faith into God and say, help me through this. Help me have the faith of a mustard seed to take this particular mountain and throw it into the ocean. It's not a physical thought. It's a mental thought. It's knowing you are better than the enemy. And you're only better than the enemy because those thoughts that tell you you're better than the enemy are pure. That's the part of you that wants the world to be better, society to be better, people to be better. And I see a lot of video and I see a lot of this, and I don't have a lot of faith in the youth of humanity. I don't. Now, to their credit, the only things that get aired are the really, really bad shit that they do. And I would include Antifa and all that, except these fuckers all need a punch in the face, Antifa. I give no quarter to Antifa. These are George Soros paid provocateurs that are out there. And not only that, they're completely, absolutely stupid individuals. I mean, they attacked a man that was a war vet in a wheelchair from Vietnam. Attacked him. How ridiculously dumb do you have to be to not realize the situation you're in when that presents itself and not just walk away and shut up? These people are ridiculously dumb. How about the guy that from Antifa that got 6 years for hitting that guy over the head with like a crowbar, and he split his grape in 2 different sections. And if you saw it in the last week, been a few days at least, they showed it all stitched back together. This guy could have been murdered by this lunatic that got 6 years. What the hell is the division that causes somebody to do that over a red hat or over following Trump? Money, greed. There must be a shitload of money that's getting filtered into the Antifa crowd. Like money that tells them You know what? I know this is against everything that I was taught and raised, because how could that be a part of their life? They go against that, and then they are there's going to be a day when Antifa gets their fucking tongue pulled through their asshole. I mean, these people are playing tough guy. Wait till the Patriots get the green light to shut this down. Wait till that happens. What's going to happen to Antifa once the Patriots get the green light to shut this shit down? You already know. You already know. I know too. I do. I know too. And that is how it's going to be. What's it gonna be? It's going to be an ass kicking of biblical proportions. And I've obviously just been spitting off diarrhea at the mouth. I haven't been reading the chat, but it looks like you guys are doing a lot of talking, and I like seeing that because I always like going back and reading the chat when I'm done. It's fun. But a lot of things are happening right now, you guys. You know this. So many things that are happening in the truth movement. We are at critical mass on many fronts. And though you're awake and living in the moment, living in the now, going, what's the next move? What's the next move? And I am too. But the next move is going to be huge. I think the next few moves, let's call it a week or 2 weeks, I think we're going to see some bombs, man. Some truth bombs. This whole plan, on top of turning everything for the better, you can't turn it for the better until you awaken everybody. Said it before. It's where the House was allowed to win. The Democrats were allowed to win the House because they had to launch these investigations. Why? It was to wake everybody up. They knew the Republicans knew they needed the Senate, because anything that the Democrats could stir up within the House of Representatives wouldn't make it past the Senate, and certainly would not make it past the Supreme Court. The Senate and the Supreme Court were two of the most important things. The Democrats were given the gift of winning the House of Representatives. Said it before. I'm just going to reiterate it and just say it again. I know I just run myself out of air when I say it, but the Democrats were allowed to win the House, and Nancy Pelosi to be put up there on that shelf because they needed a platform to expose themselves. If you don't see it, God bless you. It's okay. I really don't care if you see it or not, because this is the definition of it is what it is. It's 100% is what it is. And those that are awake see this. And that's why those that are awake aren't really stressing. I'm absolutely not stressing at all in what's going on with the president of the United States. Not even a little bit. And why is that, you guys? Well, funny you would ask me that rhetorically. It's because we're watching a movie. I know I heard that somewhere before. We are watching a movie. It's all about moves and counter moves. Trump and the Patriots and Team Q are calling the shots and have been for quite some time. There's different timelines. There's different things that lay out in which they need to make these moves and counter moves, which would imply maybe to some of you that don't follow it, that, oh, they're not in control. They're not this. No, believe me. They are simply waiting on the decision of the left, of the deep state before they make their next decision, which ultimately becomes a pie in the face of the deep state. Every time, without fail. Giant pie in the face. They've gotten 1,000 pies in the face. And nobody realizes it. Nobody, while all this is going on, nobody cares. Everyone's asleep. Nobody even thinks about it. Forget it. You don't have to worry, people. Orange man bad. Trump bad. Mar-a-Lago bad. Rich multi-billionaire bad. Son's bad. Daughter bad. Everybody bad. Immigrant wife bad. Why is that? Because at this point in time right now, he is exactly like Jesus walking into the temple and flipping the money changers' tables upside down. Except there's a whole lot more tables to be flipped. And he's been flipping these tables for about 3 years. And there's plenty more. He got a lot more. Got a lot more, deep state. Got a lot more. Pop, pop, bang. Got a lot of more for the deep state. Trump ain't messing around. He said in one of his speeches, I didn't need to do this, folks. I could have lived the rest of my life living off my financial decisions. And yes, he could have. But even for him, had Hillary gotten in, it would have put the next 50 years into motion of what was going to happen to this world. And Trump's children and grandchildren eventually probably would have been bankrupt. That's the formula. They would have taken out people like the likes of Donald Trump. I honestly think his fear of thinking that it would be bad for it, probably not for him. He'd live to see his best days, but he knew for his children, for sure, their best days were going to be behind them in the next 20 years had that witch gotten into office. And we only know this going back and looking at it in the Wayback Machine. In hindsight, we have to look at this in hindsight. Had this witch gotten into office, knowing what we know now, I'm not sure we could have ever recovered. And you know what? As much as I say I'm not sure, I know we could have never recovered. It was the game plan. The game plan was to take America out at the knees. We're not completely out of the woods yet. We are fighting this battle. We are fighting uphill against the deep state. They are many. They are many and they are corrupt. We are many and we are impassioned. And we're going to help President Trump beat that fucking deep state ass like it ain't ever been beat. And that's why they have to play this out. People are like, why is it taking so long? Why is this not happening now? He said after he got elected, he was going to arrest Hillary. Blah, blah, blah. Yam. Because disinformation is necessary. And I can say that confidently because if you look at it, everything that Q has said has been spot on in correlation with President Trump. Why is Q not back? Q is technically, but do you think right now if we needed Q front and center posting on 8kun that we would have Q? My answer to you is yes. With Q coming out just days ago on 8kun, nothing major. They're talking about lots of breaks in the security and they're trying to shore everything up so that it's perfect. It was a message to let you know that Q is back. And that if Q needs to post, Q will post. But right now, everything is going very splendid. Why interrupt an enemy when they're in the process of destroying themselves? That's why we don't see the aggressive behavior out of they are exposing themselves. People are pissed off at Lindsey Graham. Why aren't you calling a Senate judiciary hearing? Why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? Because he doesn't need to right now. Everybody being exposed through the House right now doesn't need the muddied waters of the Senate trying to jump in and take over and show how bad. Why? Because the Senate is Republican majority filled. And the minute you put the Senate into this unnecessarily, now if they needed to, they would. But the minute you put them in there unnecessarily, it's going to look like you're hiding something. Lindsey Graham and the Senate's time is coming. There will be a time when it does have to go to the Senate. I'm assuming. Actually, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they don't get enough support to even turn it into an impeachment vote. Or if they do put it to a vote, I don't know that they're going to have enough votes to even send it to the Senate. This thing is being dismantled right before our eyes. Right as we talk right now. That's what's so surreal. You guys blink, you're going to miss the revolution. You're in the revolution right now. In it. Up to your neck. Up to your eyeballs. You're in the revolution, you guys. You are the resistance. We are all the resistance. Digital soldiers that know the truth. You're the resistance. We will all collectively be wrote about in history books in the future. And 300 years from now, they might even pull this clip from this video right now, me saying this, to show it to people to go, you know what, these people are awake. It could happen. I mean, certainly technology is not going to go backwards unless we nuke everything to the ground. But isn't that wild to think about? Your comments, all of this could be in a classroom in 300 years. When they talk about how the Luciferian deep state cabal had the world by its balls, and we're on the final cusp of destroying it. And how somehow, maybe by divine intervention, a man stepped in that wasn't completely innocent of everything in his life. But he was definitely the cleanest shirt in the hamper. Pretty damn clean shirt, too. I mean, judge somebody. What are you, a saint? What am I, a saint? No. Not a saint. Pretty damn far from a saint. The good news is I was never trying to be a saint. But being a good guy is a pretty good thing to be too, right? Try to make good decisions. Try to do the right thing in life, right? Anyway, I'm probably gassed. I think I got it out of me. I think I got everything out of me. I love you guys very much. I think we're in for a hell of a ride going forward. This has been just absolutely fun. It's fun watching the deep state absolutely expose themselves. I love it. I love it. And they are. And the longer this goes, it turns out now, it sounds like Adam Schiff's coming out of the Capitol basement to start putting some of these selected testimonies and shit out there. I'll tell you what, he's got no legs. His problem is that he drug it out too long. He actually, in hindsight, should have came out and had the vote immediately and said, we're going to do an impeachment inquiry. There's some things that are aloof, and we need the security of the SCIF, and we need to get everybody down here, and we will come out with some transcripts. But there's something happening that's very bad for this country. No, they wrote it out for like 3 weeks, a month. And then the Republicans finally had to go, fuck this, and march down there, and now made it a production. And now Schiff looks like he's hiding shit. Why? Because he tried to hide, and the Republicans brought it out. And now, as a result, he didn't strike. He did not strike when the iron was hot. And I'm not saying the iron was ever super hot for the whistleblower, but why he did not pull that out and just run it. He had to have known that his whistleblower would be torn to shreds once it was found out who it was, which was released by the Drudge Report and, in fact, Adam Schiff, not Donald Trump Jr., just so you're aware. You might know this already. Adam Schiff had it in one of the testimonies. It was like page 237. Actually named the whistleblower's name. And then after it was discovered by patriots, it was scrubbed. They scrubbed it. Totally scrubbed it off what he said. This whole thing is a witch hunt. It's a sham. It's a circus. What kind of show are these guys running here? Did you see Donald Trump Jr. go on The View today? Oh, pooh. He did all right. He did pretty damn good, actually. Took some humongous Trump balls. James, you would be excited to know how big Trump Jr.'s balls are. For him to go on that show, I had respect for Don Jr. before that. I have a lot of respect for him for going on The View in there. I thought it was really smart bringing his girlfriend. He's going in to fight with 5 women, and he's got nobody to help him. No, honey, come with me, Kimberly. I'm not sure I completely understand how women all fight all the time, and I might need a cut man in my corner. Thankfully, she didn't have to come out that much. He held his own, but these bitches was vicious, some of them. Some of these women were just vicious. And I'm not going to kid you. I held my nose while I watched it because I can't. It's such a disgusting display of their version of like fair and balanced reporting, and they say, well, we're an opinion show. Well, you know what? You're not an opinion show. You were a bought and paid for opinion show. That's what The View is. Even before Donald Trump Jr. was announced, as Whoopi was announcing him, you could hear Joy Behar say, don't say his name. Don't say his name. He's there to grant you an interview. He's granting you an interview. Don't say his name. Joy Behar, you cunt of a woman. And I hold that word in very high regard for only a very small percentage of some women that earn it. So don't think I go throwing that word around loose. But my God, what does everything come to in America? What did we come to? Where are we at with all of this? How is everything this upside down? I'm glad you asked me. It's from socialism. Now, I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not saying there's some aspects of socialism that aren't great. Yes, we should help people. But they just want to wipe it clean and say, everybody give us all this, and then we'll do this. And it's like, no. You effectively kill the American dream is what you do. Or the dream anywhere. It's a dream killer. Socialism is the dream killer. Yeah. I guess I had more to say tonight than I thought. I would say shit's bothering me, and it is, but it's not. You know, it's therapeutic for me to say the things that I said tonight and listen to myself say them, because I'm not telling anybody this during the day. The moment that I reveal it on the live stream is usually the first time that I've even heard myself say it. And it hasn't been a thought in my brain. These are things that I think about. I don't know what you guys think about during the day, but I think about this kind of stuff. You know, why? Because there's nothing else worth thinking about. You know, what else am I going to worry about? A football team, or who's starting here? Who's you going to think about any of that shit? No, this is real. This is real, man. What's going on is real. And it's the best show on earth right now. The destruction of the deep state, playing in all theaters as I speak. It's going on in front of you. It's happening. I love it. I swear to God, I do. I do love it. I love how winning feels. Hey, Daisy. Daisy's over here saying hello. Hi. Want to come up? Come on. No. Go lay down. All right. So she's yelling at me. Yeah. I don't know. I think I got everything off my chest. I feel satisfied. I don't know how you feel. Pray for each other. There, I wanted to say that and not get all religious. But you know what? Put everybody's name in the chat into your nightly prayer and pray for them. I'll do it for you. I promise. I already do it for some of you. But I think that's good stuff, man. I think it's good. Anyway. All right. I'm just looking for a reason to end this. And yeah. That's about it. That's pretty much it. Thanks for coming to the live stream tonight, guys. I do appreciate you carving out your night and hanging out. I appreciate it like crazy. Like you can't imagine. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your ears open and listen. We got many, many great times ahead of us in our future. The truth is being revealed in front of us. Don't lose sight of what's going on right in front of your nose. Don't get lost in the daily grind of what makes you feel a certain way. Know that you are on the right side of humanity. Moving forward, you are. We all are. It perhaps may be the best story ever told one day. And you are right in it, Patriots, up to your neck. We all are. We are all in it. 100% in it. We love America. We love our brethren. And listen, once Trump straightens out America, which he has to focus on, it's going to be the ultimate trickle-down effect. And it's going to straighten out the world. They can't run their platform on that right now to say that that's what's going to happen. But the byproduct of America getting Trump in another 4 years and for the changes that will be made will be like a stone in the water, and the ripple effect will not be stopped. And it will be a ripple effect of good that will hit everywhere. Why do you think that this is a global movement? People are behind Trump in countries that aren't lied to by CNN, which they try. But these people are awake. They've always laughed at Americans. Always. The English, everybody's looked at America as a bunch of brainwashed zombie creatures that just go through life with their head in the cloud. And you know what? In reality, they're not wrong. It may not be you, okay? But they're not wrong in general. So, chew on that. Food for thought. thanks for coming. I'll see you soon. And if one of you go live, I don't know who, in the next couple of minutes, I may join for just a few minutes because I'm pretty tired too. But if anybody wants to get on and air their grievances out, I show up. Anyway, you guys be cool. Thanks all for showing. I appreciate you so much. See you. Bye. Be cool.